Listen, selling you a vision, not a dream. Just imagine if the world was all nice and all clean. The water's all clean, the fluoride, the chlorine, the air that we breathe. Tropical by the sea, if you know what I mean. Cause looks can be deceived if you follow the proceeds. Something like chess, I'm trying to take down the queen. I'm a king, so you know I'm shutting down the scene. No hesitation, straight from Elohims. Trying to build my camp, yeah, I'm trying to build my team. Couple 100 million strong, we're holding that team. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey type team. But I'm not gonna tell you I had a dream. Or like I said, we was all kings and queens. We left the face on the wall, we left it clean. We built the pyramids, fam. I am mean.
Yeah, man. Look how we just getting the camera rolling and the tune just come on, you know what I mean? More Lions tune, you hear me? Powers, you hear me? Right about now, you me salutes to all the community and all the people what's tuned in and logged in, you hear me? Right about now, you hear me? You got myself, you hear me? And young Winks, young Hoodwinks, young Raw, you hear me? Depending on who you are, you get me? Certified man, call me certified things, you hear me? So right about now, with obviously another general right about now, another Lion general from MOOR Lions, part of the family, you with me, part of the ways, part of the hood. Brother, you with me, introduce yourself. I don't need to introduce you, you don't know, you with me.
Those who know me, Powers.
Powers.
Those who don't, people know me as Ken, got loads of names, Bobby Swift, Bobby the Prince, Bobby Brown. But yeah, obviously part of MOOR Lions. Been here since from the day I met with Winston, heard about it, I've been here. So the movement is strong, slowly but surely. You know, just like the shore near the tide, slowly but surely it will get there.
You're riding that wave, baby, trust me. So yeah, as we're here now, we're in the Kingdom spot, you with me, we're here to bring another street education, because right about now, yeah, we have to, as generals, educate the youth them, you with me, who's out there, you with me, man, them, you respect yourself, who see you around the way, like, no, who's my man and what's he on and what's he about, because obviously we influence people, you with me, if they either know us or they don't know us, you get me? So right about now, it's time to, obviously, sometimes we're not around everybody, but right about now we talk to the world. We don't just, we talk to the community directly as we do now, but we talk to the world. So as we talk to the world, you with me,
it's like, yeah, like basically like talking's not really about words, you know what I'm saying? Like you can see someone or a male or female and just feel the vibe. Like saying like, no, who's my man? Or no, who's my man? So like, this is what's actually going on, because the vibe is, you know, you see the S3 or the A6 and it's like, no, I need that car, or like, but the person in that car, he's making it look even more better, you know what I'm saying? But like when you see the businessman in it, it's just like, yeah man, there's an S3, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, everything's vibes. Everything I put on today is because my body vibed to it. And obviously like when I was in the shop and I seen it, I'm like, no, I need that. Because, not because it's gold or things like that, it's just like, this is just who I am. So I eat, sleep, walk, talk, live a life of a 30. How you say it in a Wabi. So yeah man, like the youths on the streets, if you think like, oh, I need this, I want that, I need that, there's no needs and wants. Like it just is what it is. So if you're gonna run after money will always outrun you, because you're not the money and you're trying to chase this thing, so this thing will always outrun you.
You're meant to be a magnet and make it obviously
attract. Yeah, so
laws of attraction.
Yeah, so obviously the way we think, that's how that money thinks. But obviously money don't talk. So, but when you got it now, I don't know, a grand or 100 or whatever, and you're looking at it, bare thoughts in your mind. You don't know what to do. Am I gonna go time? Phone this girl, buy this drink up. Yo, 1,000,001 things. So this money's got thoughts, but for you to connect to that thought is using one of your senses, touch. You know what I'm saying? You got smell. You know what I'm saying? So when you connect, that's the power there. So if you're trying to chase this thing, this power will outpower you, because it will make you go deeper and deeper and start doing more things, teeth and money. You know what I'm saying? Gambling addiction now, and then that's another energy. You know what I'm saying?
So saying all that then, because obviously you touched on vibes, and you touched on people like we touched on also about when people see you, and obviously people may obviously not know people, but it's like you said, the vibe what one puts on, if it's a positive vibe or a negative vibe.
Yeah.
So right about now, what kind of person have you like to introduce them? Like obviously I know who you are, but for those who don't know who you are, introduce you and let them know a little bit what kind of vibe you're on. What vibe you're on.
In this time, in this moment, today, in the second, my vibe is just straight, higher, positive, love, divine, kind, you know what I'm saying? Thank you, this, you know what I'm saying? If I see something's out of place, like, and I can see they don't really know.
Definitely.
Because it's not really knowledge. I'll show them like, yo, like obviously like just do it. Like,
so then that means
do it that way.
Guiding one.
Guidance. Like well, do it that way, do it this way. And then you'll see what I mean when you do it.
What you say, be your brothers and sisters keeper then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
each one teach one.
Yeah. So I just go by example. So what you don't see behind the closed door, that's how I create my vibe. You know what I'm saying? Meditation, relaxation, reading. The yoga I'm not starting yet, but slowly but surely, not saying just like little moves. So and even just normal things like when you jump in the bath. That's like cleaning yourself, but people think you just have to wash. So like when you're telling yourself what this is, which is called awareness, which is another energy, people. Like sometimes you might think someone's in the corner of your eye, when you look it's gone. But that's the awareness showing you something, but you can't see it with these eyes. Because when you try to use that eye, it went. So the more you are aware of these things, the awareness will show you a lot more. So when you do step out into the big bad world, because you've got to protect yourself before you come out your house.
Definitely.
Yeah, with the energy. And when you do come out, the results is in your face. You see it, people looking at you, and you're thinking, yo, how come looking at me like that?
Because they were on a different vibe and a different energy. So then, alright, then cool then. That's your personal vibe then, yeah. So then, when you've done yourself then, and obviously know what kind of vibes you're on, and you, like you said, you step out into that big bad world. What's out there then for like the community when you go in amongst other people's vibes? Like how is other people's vibes out there operating?
Okay. What, like when I see them?
Not like when you see them, but even people interacting with each other to get to know each other's vibes.
Yeah. So like I said, when I step out there, if I got a free day, I can do anything. But more time I go to town. I like going to town, walking around. So I'm in town, and I will look at as a whole perspective versus town. Like let me feel the vibe. So I'm in town. And a lot of things going on, buses, noises, like you know, say everything's going on. And then by that feel, I will know how time is and which area in town to go or which area what time to go. But when I'm going there, I don't even know what the mission is. But in the end, my magnet will take me there. Like for instance, yesterday, so let's say day 4 yesterday, there was some market stores in town, which come every year in the square, and I met one guy called King. He's a West African guy. Shout out to King. Yeah, he's doing very well. And just shortly you'll be in Zimbabwe when your vision comes. But Powers. I met him 2 years ago in the square, and he gave me this shark tooth as a pendant, and he was breaking down how like when sharks are in the sea, their vibrations are from the teeth, and certain animals can feel the vibration. So when you wear this around, this is the vibration. So he was already in tune already. So cut a long story short, I went town for a reason, and I thought, let me quickly go bank. Went in the bank, there's some money in there from nowhere, and I was like, yo, that's a bit weird, but not in a weird way. So I went with the flow, walked around the square. King's there. I said, King, yes, brother. He said, yes, Ken, and this is 2 years later, you know. The vibe was so strong, you know what I'm saying? And straight away, I said, hey, I just gave him some money, you get me? And he says, no, you know what, Ken, you're gonna help me out in Zimbabwe because I'm building this little area in Zimbabwe for the people there, and it's creating a sound system. So I said, alright, cool. From when I left there, I knew why I went down. So I was just on the way out, I got a phone call. Someone asking me, I've got a horse for you, do you want a horse? So you can have it for free. You know what I'm saying? And I've always wanted a horse, because I'm not really a car man, you know what I'm saying? I want a horse. So this is what you do when you put your practice into these things, and when you harness it and give it out, it comes back in them ways. Because before we used to get mash up it on gallon, not saying give it to gallon don't know how to handle it, and the next minute they're throwing you out the blue on about why do you like me and all that mad toy. You thinking, yo, what these gallon? So yeah, the vibe, you got to like hold it for yourself, and if you want to push it out, but know where you're pushing it to. Back in my day, for those who know me, I was born in MOOR, so there was like only me, my other good brethren, Truth and Warren's, shout out Warren, and Nathan Bamford. We was the only black family in MOOR, and like them days it was racist, but at the same time it was racist, but it wasn't racist in a sense. But as society Mojo, we was just nice, if you know what I mean. We was just cool with them. We might hear a little racist mark, but in the end it was nothing. From coming out of MOOR now into where I am now, it's like a whole new scene now. But back in them days, the vibes was different. Like a kid could come along and ask for a go of a bike, and you give him a go. You know what I'm saying? Or
share your things.
Yeah, share your things. You know what I'm saying? And even down to the police as well, because it's on a whole in it. Back in the day, back in them day, when the policeman, everyone knew this policeman, and he even knew your name. And like even if certain things happened, it would be a certain thing. Like if like it was a creeper, you would know, oh, it's my man, and he would knock on my man's door like in MOOR days, like, yo, tell you something, you know what I'm saying, and speak to him. Don't quick to grab you, you know what I'm saying, because they know he's the burglar, he's the car thief. So the policeman would know who it was because we know each other, and they would come knock on your door like, yo, next time just, you know what I'm saying, and give you a little knowledge. But today's day and age now, they haven't got that. They just want to know your name, rough you up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The vibes change now.
But that's that vibe in MOOR, because obviously the majority of them was probably white. So because the majority was white, the police probably like operated.
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They didn't know. They know Usman for badness, but they couldn't knock on my door like knock on my door, knock on that man's door.
Cause all the T's in MOOR was the white youths. But people like us, we was in this thing. We was like the little sneaker ones. We was in and out. Like we weren't in it. Heartily, like every morning with the heart, and you know what I'm saying, like I was in it, but not in the heart, you know what I'm saying, like, because I'm in MOOR with the black people, so now I've had to have them in the lane. Man, the teeth finger, man, show me how to teeth cars, like with screwdrivers, like what? You know what I'm saying, the black box, this is called a black box, you know what I'm saying, this is how you handbrake, you know what I'm saying, this is how you do this.
Hot wire in the
hot wire, so before you know, you decide to take the mobilizer off, you know what I'm saying. So before you know,
the cavalier,
get the 5p and put it in the mobilizer, up saying 2 5p's and it fizzes out the thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, with the blue tack, all that. So like them days, like when I think about it, I was grateful for that, because these are like defense mechanisms you actually put inside, you know what I'm saying, subliminate, you know what I'm saying? So like MOOR was full of robbing and thieving and fighting, if anything, like there was no guns or nothing like that. So I've got a good defense mechanism which is in there, but it don't come out anymore, you know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I've got. But the youths to today now, when you go in the hood, cause remember it's not even your hood, you know, youths. Remember the hood don't even love you. You know what I'm saying? Like you just put there, you know what I'm saying?
Not your community, right? In the sense of like the system-wise, the estates, the council, it's not our thing.
It's not ours. So me, I can go to any ends, but certain youths look at you different, like they say, yo, who's my man? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, who's my man? I'm thinking, yo, who are these youths? You know what I'm saying? Like 9 times out of 10, because I'm not young, they're thinking I'm their age. Like 19, 20, I'm saying, yo, I'm 31, you know? Like I've been around before you like even knew what was all this. So, you can't even speak to them like that, in a sense, because that's when the vibe comes in now and shanks and, you know what I'm saying, all of this. So
you have to lower your vibrations
today. So our generation, we won't really get in the schooling like that, but because we was our pops and that was the elders, and we was to seeing certain schoolings in like their thing, because we go home with grandmas and we see little uncle, you know what I'm saying? That's where we see a little vibes and certain words.
Even back in the day, certain man, or not even certain man, the majority of the man them, and not for the man them who I know from elders to youngest or to my generation, man passed through Sunday school.
Yeah.
So you had elders around, so you had certain discipline, like you couldn't do certain things if certain elders was around, or other manners like what you're saying, or certain elders told you off. You had to know yourself.
Yeah. But nowadays it's like, even though we didn't get taught that, we've kind of semi-grown into that somehow. But the new generation youths now, these are on some, I don't know if it's for stripes, I don't know what they call it today, stripes, I don't know, bodies, numbers, allow all that stabbing, allow all that to show who, because right about now, if you get a magnet now and get a negative and try and put it together, it's all it's going to do is just this, regardless, you're fighting, so this is what happens when two men are at this thing, so one's always gonna try and show the other one who's the baddest, and as soon as you let go and the positive hits it, it sticks, you know what I'm saying? So when two are beefing, no one can't win, because it's negative and negative. It's not gonna start until someone says, you know what, let's just allow it, innit? You know what I'm saying? So like, the streets don't love you. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Man them don't love you. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Money don't love you. Facts. Goms, gal, women, chicks, all them titles don't love you. You know what I'm saying? Women do and ladies do. You know what I'm saying? So this is how you look at things. You know what I'm saying? When I'm out on the street vibing again, I'll look at a female and I will put her for what she's dressed, what she is. So yeah, man, that's a thing, or a chick, or a gal, because that's how she talks.
Depends on her level.
Yeah. That's it. She's got the TNs on, with the trackers.
I was having that same thing, like obviously a man saying, obviously, like, gal, and I was on about, obviously sometimes it's because we're chasing these gal, man have to lego the gal thing, and then I look for the woman and the ladies, or the sistrins, you get me?
The sistrins,
the empress, the lioness, the Nubians,
because for the women who don't know what a Nubian is, you know what I'm saying? Because a Nubian is, we was the new beings who came to Earth, planet Earth first, you know what I'm saying? And a Nubian is like a title, like, so an empress, before an empress becomes an empress, she's already a queen, but she's ruling her like empire in like a different ends. Then let's say like you got an empress in Ville, a queen in Ville, and then she meets a Buddha in, let's take it out, let's go all the way to like, let's say Kimberley, the ends to Kimberley, and he's a king. As soon as they get married, she controls her thing and his thing, her ends.
The queen's power.
Stands and Kimberley. So that's how she becomes an empress. You know what I'm saying? She controls the different empires and empires.
But it goes back to even obviously when you talk about Moors, when we created the chess pieces and when you talk about chess, the queen is the powerfulest piece on the chessboard. You get me?
She can do from that corner to that corner.
She can do anything she wants.
Shape shift. She's the shapeshifter.
You with me? At the end of the day, you with me? Every man and every woman comes true woman. You with me?
Yeah. The number 9.
You get me?
You know what I'm saying? The 9 gate. You know what I'm saying? Which is a star, which is called the vagina. That's what the star's called. Big bright white star called the vagina. So
check that out and look at
do your research.
That's what I'm saying. This is street education, so get your mind right. You with me, car? Old niggas know. You admit real things. You admit we got sense. We're not just talking to say this, that, and the other. And obviously, you admit we're talking about my man's girl over there, or my man's crepes, or my man's car. We're talking about real things where obviously you can educate your mind and you get me look into it and know your worth. You get me your self-worth. You admit?
Yeah, because what we're talking is in spells, isn't it? So that's another vibe, because it's a sound. So when you're coming out of these spells now, this is when you're looking at things like correct now, like for instance, again, like when man see man and they're like, yo, these crepes are sick, these crepes are bad, these are wicked.
These crepes are gold.
You know what I'm saying? But because I'm tuned out of that way now, and I'm tuned on like because I'm on a guy with dictionary now and words and real meanings and scriptures, so he says these crepes are sick, bad and wicked
and ill,
you know what I'm saying? So bad in scriptures is like the bad and the wicked, you know what I'm saying? Sick means you're poorly or you're ill, you know what I'm saying?
And ill.
And ill, the same thing, you know what I'm saying? So these are bare spells, like man just put bare spells on me like, yo Ken, you're sick, you're poorly, you know what I'm saying? Because we're speaking in these words, so English is the lowest definition of a spell, which is in language, because that's why they ask you to spell out the spell.
Yeah.
And obviously, before English, which was Latin and Greek, and Latin and Greek is two words combined to sound like one. So this is how you get your Julius Augustus and your like Capantius DeSantius, you know what I'm saying? So it's two words and it sounds like one. So when the English came in, that was like the lowest of language, which is the falling down language. So that was the spell. So when you got words, so when people greet people like hello,
Hell is low.
hell, chop it in half, hell is low, because we've got these words from the Latin and the Greeks. So hell is low, you know what I'm saying? Bless.
Wake up, man.
You know what I'm saying? Be less of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Black, we're not black, you know what I'm saying? Black, because our hair is black. You know what I'm saying? The universe is in the scriptures that it says dark, in the darkness. You know what I'm saying? So we are dark, our hair is dark. You know what I'm saying? And our skin is brown.
Our melanin, our hue is
but the melanin was a gift. What happened because we fell from supreme beings to super beings to human beings. You know what I'm saying? So when we were supreme, like Osiris, our skin was green. It was green, and that's because we had magnesium and zinc and copper running through our blood.
And even that's when they're not even just green, when they go to over
Hare Krishna and all that, the Hindus
and the
some
blues
other,
and the
the blue,
purples.
So the supreme being was the green and the super being was the blue, like the falling down from the green to the blue to the brown. You know what I'm saying? So
but they're all was forms of being black.
Yeah.
I used to laugh and say that Osiris here is a green nigga. Cause when you see him, yeah, my man just looking like a nigga, yeah, but just green. Like, you with me? So you with me? All of them was brothers.
Osiris was resurrected from Haru. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why he come back green is because he come back as the purest. Which was the story of Isis now when she's resurrecting him. So Aset, sorry. So to cut that long story short, if you know the story, the ones who don't, it was just Seth and his brother warring, and Seth ended up chopping up the body pieces and scattering them all over the world. But
and sometimes they call him Seth.
Yeah. I'm bringing it down to the lower, or not up to the lower, but to the understanding of the language, and obviously. The last piece, which was the private parts, that got thrown in the sea, which got ate by a fish. So when Aset now found all the parts, sewn them back together, I'd done the ritual to bring him back. She didn't have that last piece, which was the private part, so she made an obelisk, which is in Egypt now, them tall long needles. It was an obelisk made out of gold. So she didn't actually make the shape of the private part, it just had to be in that position, in that shape. So when she's revived him now, and he's ejaculated, obviously gold is a mineral, you know what I'm saying? So like, through the ejaculation now, when it's hitting the gold, all the bacteria in the ejaculation is being sorted out, you know what I'm saying? Bam, 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 back to pure again. So when it goes inside her now, that was the purest of the purest. So we was green. And obviously when you take the plant from its root and pull it out the soil and put it on the side, after an hour or two the plant starts to go brown. So this is how we've fallen again, brown. And obviously the reason why we cream ourselves is because we're rusty. I'm not saying we're really rusty right about now, but this is how powerful we are, you know what I'm saying? Because we can still dance, I'm not saying we still got the soul, we still got the mindset, I'm not saying we still got the dreams if you do dream people, I'm not saying
because we rejuvenate the skin by the sun, by Ra, you know.
So because we fell from the supreme being to super being, which was the zincs come out, the irons come out, the coppers come out of our bloodstream, the gift from the sun or from the creator or whatever perception people want to put it as, that's when the melanin came in and kicked in, which protected us. So regardless what the plan is, the oversized plan with that powerful whatever backup plan on a backup plan on a backup plan on a backup plan, guidance people. You know what I'm saying? So when you overstand yourself, you'll actually know. Shout out Pegasus.
Shout out Pegasus.
Shout out Halo as well. Guidance.
Guidance.
Yeah.
You know, man up in the kingdom, you know, Ray Kings, you know.
So when you do know yourself, which is myself or Lee self, you will understand the vibes. But like I said, if you know me, you know me, innit? If you don't, you don't. Winter's a vibe, everyone's a vibe. But if you do meet me, you will know about the vibes. But because I got a knowledge I didn't know. So now I'm starting school, it's like, for some reason, it's like all the teachers were just out for me. But no, I don't know why. I'm saying it's always me, Ken, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like, cut that long story short, I got kicked out of the school by year 9 by licking down the headmaster. About 9 teachers, you know what I'm saying? 10 teachers, I can't remember how many it was.
Them ruthless.
Yeah, but this is how it got to. Obviously, them days school, you won't really like to wear your hats or crepes, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you get a blight. So obviously, I've got my hat. Yeah, I got my hat, you know what I'm saying? Last is like the 2 minutes before the boy goes for dinner, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's getting ready, a couple man got their hats on, I'm looking around, I'm like, yeah, my man got hats on, so I'm like, hat on, you know what I'm saying? But I was gonna go in a minute, dinner time, yeah? The woman's like, oh, Ken, can you take your hat off, please? So I'm like,
because you one bag of mango.
so what about these up there? She's like, no, but I asked you. Ding 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 ding, the buzz went night, you know, so everyone's like, shh. So I'm like, she's like, no, can you stay behind? I'm thinking, hey, what's she on? Stay behind that. She's on some bully thing, like nose to nose thing, no like in my face thing. I'm thinking, nah, this ain't right still. But obviously I'm holding it. And then before you know, some other teachers walk past up through the window. She's like, oh, you alright? Like trying to defend her, like she's bumming. Like I'm thinking, hey, what's going on here? Before you know, yeah, the next teacher come in, all gang. I'm in the corner if I'm getting ganged up on, yeah. So I just like went in it. So obviously, vibes. You know what I'm saying? You either got to manifest positive or negative. One or the other, and I started off on the negative, which don't mean bad. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is balance it back up. You know what I'm saying? So
I reversed it.
yeah, so I got kicked out by then, and then not one school in the whole of Nottingham wanted me. You know what I'm saying? So my mum had to have me home tutored, and then but because I was used to nicking cars and that, because I used to drive Nick cars to school and all sorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, but my mum didn't know that. It's not saying I used to just like get picked up in a beat. You know what I'm saying? Boom, get dropped off by my bedroom because I can't go to school. And then bam, that's it. And then bam, yo, mum, bam, gone. So while I'm getting home tutoring, my mind's ticking like, yo, I got a Nick Carter spot around here. Like, I need to play out. Like, yo, mum. But I was at school hours, innit? So after 4 or 5 o'clock, like, I'm ready, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't concentrating them with the teacher them times. You know what I'm saying? And my mum could see it, so it's the environment, you know what I'm saying? The environment, and then before you know, I'm thinking in my mind, I can't wait to ID school, you know. I was thinking, like, I can't wait. Cut long story short, my mum got me in big good school and ended up finishing school, doing my qualifications, and then left school now. So I'm like, bruh, the world is mine. And then, yeah, the world was mine, innit?
So then what do you think about the education system within the schools?
It's all mash up. It's all mash up because, you know, you got things like the letter C. Yeah, and then you got SEE, which we see with our eyes, and then you got the SEAC. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds the same, but it's all 3 different things. So already it's mash up. And then let's go back to C again. We say it again, C. Yeah, the hissing noise is on the first breath. C. Yeah, and then we say words like cake, car, cat. The hissing noise is gone. You know what I'm saying? And then you got letters like S. I'm saying S, the hissing noise is on the second breath, S. You know what I'm saying? And you got words like Sir, Simon and Santa on the first breath, Sir, you know what I'm saying? So mash up. So we speak in tones, sounds and vibrations, people. You know what I'm saying? And so the system is actually dumbing us down, because as a kid as well, I big problem in every classroom because I can't do, because I'm telling them this is how I learn. So when I'm spelling words like visionary, V-I-S, I don't know, I-O-N-A-R-Y, them days I was spelling the G on with a Z, and they're like, no, it's not with a Z, it's with an S. But when you look up the word Google visionary now, it's a Greek word and they spell it V-I-Z upside down U-E-O-R-Y, something like that, you know what I'm saying? So all this time when I'm trying to see what it sounds like when I say it, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? And then teacher's telling me, no, you don't spell it with a Z, it's with a S. You know what I'm saying? So
it's all about pronunciation.
Pronunciation and grammar. Yeah, grammar, because most of these teachers, even till today, I'm in town doing my thing, obviously out partying, but obviously drinking water, I can. And I'm meeting school teachers who are younger than me. Like 23, like what, you're a school teacher? Like, nah, yeah, even like youth, so nah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That
It's not about youth, but it's like life experience.
Yes.
Like children.
Yeah, so even like solicitors I'm meeting, like, your solicitor, like,
young.
And then when I say, oh, you know about maritime law, she's like, what's that?
And they defend you.
I'm like, you see?
And they can't even defend
what's that? I'm saying maritime law, innit? Law of the water. You know what I'm saying? You got law of the water and law of the land, you know what I'm saying? So, if all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 of us now was in the sea, you know what I'm saying? Doing our thing, and my chain drops off in the sea.
Whatever washes up on the sea,
yes,
yours. You mean this is the
winds can say that is. Yes, Ken.
When the pirates came in, you with me?
Yes, the treasure hunters.
So what it's like finders keepers that rule.
Yes.
You with me?
So Winds can put that on his neck now in the sea, and there's no one on the sea to go to because there's no laws on the sea. You know what I'm saying? But if it was on the land, even though we're doing like if the police say, yo, mama, teach my thing. You know what I'm saying? So this law is what, not saying no names, but the other side people are the system, shall I say then, yeah, are getting on to land and then using it on us without us even knowing what's going on. So like, people in court and they're like, yeah, we're cool. And then you get no say in this thing. And then it just gets sorted out and you're like, hey? And then because they use the full force on you without even knowing.
You gave up your rights to the solicitors or the lawyers or whatever, and you haven't defended yourself.
Yes.
You don't know what law you're obviously trying to fight
against. So now, I don't know if a lot of you people know, but about 7-8 years ago there was like a ferry, and it got it like sunk next to the shore, yeah, but it was like a big ferry, like a container with like motorbikes, cars,
all the containers fell up,
and everyone was just grabbing their pens and all that, yeah, and the police was just there watching him. Couldn't do nothing. That's law of the water, you know what I'm saying? So now today it's been put into the land, you know what I'm saying? Because that's called salvaging. These people salvage it, you know what I'm saying? So now when we're in the womb for 9 months, we're in the water for 9 months. You know what I'm saying? And then when that 9 months comes, because they put these subliminals in our minds, and especially in films for women. So when there are all these films where they get you like lovey-dovey in these baby films and finger films, and then right at the end it's like when the water breaks, they make that bit so exciting, like the water's broke, come, let's get to the hospital, some mushy thing, because the baby is coming out of water onto land, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to inform to the government now that you're salvaging your child. You know what I'm saying? You're going to salvage your child to give up their birthrights for benefits and privileges and a house. You know what I'm saying? And then once you put that on the birth certificate now, you lower your baby father's status to saying that he's not capable of you two are working this thing out. So you're going to go to a third party to ask for some money. You know what I'm saying? And then when she's rearing up with a baby father and on about, I don't need you no more, I've got money and all these things here. That's her on her high horse. You know what I'm saying? But if the argument was on the other foot now, she's got no say, because the government would be saying, who put your kids into the education? Who put your kids into hospital? Who put crepes on your kids' foot and clothes on your kids' back? You know what I'm saying? So this was this another spell again, what they put on the Nubian women.
Because you start to
on the
rely
number
on
9.
the people, then rely on the system, rely on.
You know what I'm saying? And because you're popping that beer use now because you think you can get money, the system, has to build all these asses for us. You know what I'm saying? Buying up. Why do you think all the pubs are going and all these things are getting shut down with yards? Because we're like abusing the sex thing. You know what I'm saying? So I remember my man owned all these yards and has never not been to one of them. Not one of them, fam. You know what I'm saying? The big main brother. Not one has. He don't care about this thing. You know what I'm saying?
He own the properties of the council or the properties of whatever housing estate.
Yeah. But obviously the main brother who's controlling the thing as a whole, the monopoly brother, he don't care. He ain't not visited not 1 yard. So you know what I'm saying? Like these are the spells people. Like once you're awake and you can show the system that like you write them a letter. I don't want this birth certificate. You know what I'm saying?
But then okay, then all saying that what you're saying, and you're right. Then and people need to educate themselves. But going back to obviously the school system, then if they're not knowing these things what you're breaking down, yeah, because you wasn't taught that at school.
Never.
So why aren't they teaching people these things at school?
Right,
to know this, or even not even just those things, many things to people to know this.
Because that system is, again, it's like built up as in the class is meant to be mixed with multicultural, innit? So that teacher has to cater for all of them, but it can't. You know what I'm saying? Because she's just from that race. You know what I'm saying? So she
doesn't have the background of that Asian person. She didn't have the background as a black person. She just
sees it as a job, and then just gets a wage to pay her mortgage.
She can't relate to the individual people.
Her pride is, I did go uni and I qualified for to be a teacher, but when she steps in that classroom on the first day, she don't know what's going on. Like, you know that what's that film called? We're calling
Dangerous Mind.
Yeah, you know, something like that. When she walks in and it's just hectic. Like, she's thinking, yo, like, I got told her a year of this so I can pay my mortgage, you know. This is just for mortgage, you know. You know what I'm saying? So when she's holding all that stress, and then someone like me comes on who's on some mad thing, and all the time I'm saying no, well, it sounds like a Z to me when I spell this. And it sounds like this to me, and she's telling me no. And then now I'm coming with maritime law, you know what I'm saying, and all these things here. It's wrong. So what we have to do now is stop it from when the youths are getting into nursery. Because all they do is what? Play in sand, yeah, drink our one milk, our one scribble on a paper and go to sleep. They can do that at home. You know what I'm saying? Because that from then, that's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? Because most kids are not used to milk anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're putting the milk in them from you, and then...
No, but it's not even milk, it's what kind of milk. Obviously, if it's the MSA or whatever they call it, that powder milk, or if it's cow's milk or whatever, that's what they're not used to.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Natural female breast milk.
Yes.
You with me? Because obviously that's what people need to start breaking out. We need to get back to natural, you with me, breastfeeding if it's the women, even though the women might say, well, you don't know how it is as it hurts.
But it don't hurt, because more knowledge on that.
Well, better than giving them poison anyway, even if it does, then obviously it gives you a closer bond, you with me?
Some women do breastfeed and then do that change, but in the school, when they get into the nursery, I'm saying, and then next minute they're in the hospital.
Yeah, but
and then it's like, oh, because the over milk, yeah, because they took a changeover, it mashed them up.
Everybody has to stay to their own. Sheep have sheep, cow have cow, dog have dog, cat have cat, and human have human. You with me?
Yeah,
straight like that. You with me?
But we could make milk. Well, we do have milk.
You have naturally,
yeah,
even
almonds.
Yeah.
Not saying.
You make coconuts,
all of that.
Yeah,
so
get me.
yeah, but most times that was to cook with as well. So it wasn't like a ritual, like for the cereal every morning for the ritual, because that's a ritual. Because a ritual is practicing something every day. Brushing your teeth is a ritual. Going to sleep, ritual. Eating your cereal, ritual. I said if you go to the gym, ritual. If you pray in the church,
so do you think that the school education system is beneficial then? Like, do you learn of it then in the sense of, did you as a black youth grown up in the UK benefit off this education system? Did it bring you any closer to your culture?
No, because I'm not gonna lie, because the first time I seen Roots was in the school. Yeah, I was in Roots, I was in the school, and it was like, it was what was it? It was like some special day or something. So some special day, took us to the library, put on this thing in it, some issue thing. I'm thinking, yo, what's this? Cool. But when I got back to class, I was thinking, nah, are these teachers taking their piss? Like, are they trying to put some hate in man or something? So, and then when it was RE time, religious time now, it's some Jesus thing. And some Jesus thing. So now I'm thinking, yo, so that thing what I watched here, what was that? You know what I'm saying? What was that? But true Simon Ball and that, like, we didn't get them things up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I checked my brethren, some of them was, well, most of them was white, but obviously some of them was mixed race, my best brethren, but they was kind of busy in their thing. But we didn't really have black films like that, unless it was like my brother with videos them days. Little Menace Society, you know what I'm saying? But that was showing you about guns and drugs, you know what I'm saying? And Boys in the Hood, you know what I'm saying? All these films, even the classics. But when you rewatch them again,
they would be negative messages.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ballet as well. Classic film, I love that. When you watch it again, it's like, these men are showing you like straight away. It's like bam,
But
doing the big matches, innit? Straight away.
That was the beginning of the programming, though. That like in that era.
Yeah.
So, but even when you go prior to that, before that, then films was more about love or something about, you with me, building that in the community. You used to have like Spike Lee's films like Do the Right Thing and all those things, like films there, and you with me, where nowadays, you with me, you don't have them films right now.
If you watch Belly again, it's all mud up. Yeah, you walk in, I mean, it starts doing that big mansion, innit? Big mansion, mama's girls there jamming, you know what I'm saying? Doing a big mansion. So already, it looks like they made it, innit? Because the DMX is nice. But when you hear the clock, the ball only starts to get running with the links like Yardy Buddha. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now these man are doing moves and all these types of stuff, killing man. But they've already made it in my eyes at the start. Cause you know what I'm saying? They go back to this mansion, you know what I'm saying? They go back to the mansion like boom boom. You know what I'm saying? So, but in our life, if all is at that yard already, we're living with nice, innit? We don't have to link no moves or nothing or link no yard man, go to a yard with my man. You know what I'm saying? Quite, it was my man with the feathers, innit? It was my man. You have to do none of that. But for some reason, in the end, it shows you again the system ends up grabbing him. You know what I'm saying? And showing him like, yo, you got to go murder the church Buddha, the pastor man. You know what I'm saying? We got all that other thing what was doing, we was sending them all mad. You know what I'm saying? Sending them all wild now. The yard man's been killed now. So when he goes to the meets the pastor Buddha now and mama don't even kill him, showing you from then, like the mud of all the heads, cause from the start was gassed. And then now you look at the DMX like, what mama doing poppy now?
But at the same time, even though those films was all those look at the actual characters and look at the people behind you, because movies are movies, innit? So that's just some role play thing.
Yeah, because they didn't show you where they got the money from the start to get the mansion and all that.
But even prior out to that, to obviously DMX himself being a part of Rough Riders, obviously, and successful. Obviously, he had everything, and obviously he's promoting obviously his badness or whatever as at the time. But man being a real man and being a real general, man like DMX from the streets, he will come back and tell you that no matter what he's been through, it's not been pretty. You with me? Obviously all this glitz and glamour, we have this, but easy come, easy go. You with me? So don't get fooled by this thing, and most of the time, obviously, you with me, man have got bare pain and suffering what they've been through anyway, wars and scars and lost certain soldiers and you with me, certain family members dead or whatever the story is, cause real like it, you with me, so man burn food and all them things there and have ups and downs and come back, cause real life, you with me.
What winds it up to me when I seen The Wire, the series, The Wire, and obviously Baltimore in it, so like, that's where all them man are from. I say that, and DMX all them man are down there, so that was the life. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, wow, like it's real, you know what I'm saying? Police let a man shot down there, dropping guns off down there to the hood and getting off, you know what I'm saying? Used to find him like suitcase with mad waps in, like, what's this?
And he was like the police.
Yeah.
So that's what the movie is trying to show you, that obviously, like, going back to that, then that means there's been corruption from way back, because even when you go back to the drugs in the other film, it's always the at the top of the top here, you always got someone like the either government letting a big portion of things in anyway. You with me? If it's not the drugs, then they're putting the guns on the roadside. So you with me? When it's obviously all those guns, just pumping it back out onto the road. For us to be like you said, those bellies, them menace to society, those boys in the hoods, you with me? Because obviously we've already been programmed by watching them things there, thinking, yo, that's cool, that's not my man, yo, right. You with me? So,
because how it starts is the first time you ever seen that gun was probably in Menace or Belly. You know, like some, like, not no normal thing, some mad shake thing. And then now, you're up like you go to one Buddha's yard and like it's there, like you can buy it. You're gonna buy it, are you? Because like, no, I remember when I seen this in Belly that time, you know what I'm saying? Because your memory comes back, you know what I'm saying? So this is what the program is, because program means program me. You know what I'm saying? When you take the ME, you cut it down. So the programming you know what I'm saying, in these things. So when you do see it again, it reprograms you, your brain clicks like, no, that was like bunny with yo. No one ain't got one of these. Because where else did you see it? In the film.
So we want the flashy cars,
so you want the
flashy jewelry, want the flashy girl, you get me? And not want like you was on about the woman and the ladies, because you want the girl, cause the girl let go and the girl them are loose and the girl are freed up and the skimpy take this, that, and the other.
So we can bear energy.
But then that's where we follow suit, and then that's where man will call them bitches, hoes, and rete rata, because obviously that's what they portray as cool.
Yeah.
And there's not even that's what they are. That's what portrays they are, but that's not what they are.
No,
that's what
not
that's what portrayed to me.
Yeah, because where I was going with that was as well, because all this other stuff what I don't get in, you know, on all them apps on their phones where they got the dog, the ears and the nose, and on the Snapchat and all that. All of that thing there, yeah. This is all the spells. They're trying to get you lower down to that level. So if you have got that dog thing, the nose thing, and you was licking the thing, the screen with the ears. If I see that, you're a dog. That's it. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just what it is, because that's what my eyes see. Now reality today. So you're portraying yourself as like, yo, I'm a dog.
So what do you think is needed in the education and school system here in the UK then to be beneficial for the people? Because we don't learn about the heroes and sheroes like in like history. It's not really black history, so you don't really obviously kind of relate to certain things.
Yeah.
So
I think it's where we are. Like London is, England is just a place of mix up and mash up, because when you if you go back to China man them and them man, their thing on telly, like you got Kung Fu films in it, like in China, you know what I'm saying, and they showing you who they are, you know what I'm saying. So this kid now, when he watches telly, he sees bare kickers and bare, you know what I'm saying, Jet Li flying through the air, and so they're showing them who they are, like, yo, you can be this Jet Li, or you are the Superman, or you are the thingy man. And that's because they stick by who they are, you know what I'm saying, they're like mingling with nothing. Same with the Africans, same with whatever, but over here, because it's so more mixed up and mixed up, we can't be showing that, because for some reason, the Chinaman's daughter, or male or female, by the time she is, in fact, this is how we're gonna do it. Yeah. So we would have had 2 years in the nursery, yeah? From 7, it's like 7 years, yeah? And then you add on another from 9 to 11, yeah? So that's another 3 years, yeah? So now that's 9 years, yeah? And then you go to senior school from first year to year 11. So how many is that? Like another 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Can't decide with people. I'm not dumb, trust me. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, 8, 9, yeah. So that's another 9 years in school, yeah. In junior school, yeah. So that is, let's do like that. 10 years and with another 18 years of your life, yeah. And then you leave school, and then your choice is either to go to college, if you want to, for another 4 years. That's 18, 19, 21, that's 22 years of your life. And then from then you can go to uni, which is another 4 years, let's say, so that's 28 years. And then you can start to do your thing, if you do get there, yeah? 28 years of your life, yeah? But most people don't even do the college thing. So from them 18 years, you learn your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s, yeah? And a little Spanish and a little French. Like you earn the twice after sentences, set week, nerve, these doors, you know what I'm saying? And all these things there, yeah? But the Chinaman now, by the age of 4 or 5, this male and this female can play the violin, yeah, or the piano, yeah. And then by the time when she's 7 to 10, yeah, she's like can read some other books, like say some other words, you know what I'm saying, and do some other thing. By the time she's 15, she's talking about she wants to be a businesswoman or wants to be a millionaire, and already she's already nearly there. And now, 15, she can play the violin, the piano, and the flute, read all these top names, you know what I'm saying, and all these top books. By the time she's, like I said, what, 22 years, now, she's, you don't see her, she's gone.
But we've got
the school.
We've got those also as well, because you've got very clever Africans what come over from Africa, and they can play X amount of drums, X amount of guitar, piano, whatever.
Yeah, but this because it wasn't in the school, because the parents seen it from the start, the talent.
Yeah.
So some of these things push him into the school. They push him into the violin, push him into the finger, push him, you know what I'm saying? So rather than push him to the school, going down, as soon as you see a talent in your kid, singing, football, drawing, anything from that day when you see it, where he's drawing a picture and you're like, oh, he can draw. No, you
embrace him, you help.
You're seeing him like interested in this thing, like the excitement of this thing when he done it. You keep pushing into that excitement, because that is the vibe what's inside, and that's what grows like a plant even more. and then that's when you especially that's when people do see it. So this is why the Chinaman are building up fast. You know what I'm saying? Owning all the world now. You know what I'm saying? On the internet the other day, the top Chinaman owns all the weed in the world now. In California, all the legal weed business. He says he's bought it. You know what I'm saying? Because he owns it. He says, I don't care if you call it California Kush. I own it. Because most of you see is come through where my ancestors come from anyway, that country. You know what I'm saying? Because I trace back through the census, this. So he's showing you don't have to go to school, to college, to uni.
To be successful.
Yeah, like you can, which is your choice, and it's good too as well, because you can be already there to where that teacher might be a bit lower than you, and like you're even seeing what he's on, like seeing, but you kind of already know. Because I do know people who's in uni and they've says, oh yeah, it was on a topic. I'm not saying what the topic is, but they've gone through that own experience themselves, so they actually know. But the way the professor was putting it across to the group, she was disagreeing on it. Because A, he's a male, and B, he's never experienced this. So when she was putting the point across, he's not having it. Because he's the one who's giving you the thing to make you pass. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good experience sometimes because that will verify, like, you know what? Some of these who claim they are not.
But what would give them a better advantage as a black girl or black boy in the school system the way it is at the moment? Because obviously for those who go to the school, obviously they're lacking, aren't they? Lacking knowledge of self. That's why they don't know their self. That's why obviously they're behaving the way they're behaving. So what will improve this, so obviously people know their self and they know their self-value. And then, because obviously like from history times, they're not really...
Well, it's just down to mindset and ego, because I was the same. You know, like when like your mum would say, oh yeah, I bet you can you just wash them pots with me, and you think, oh my gosh, we need to get out of all of that, fam, because that will burn out your head, you know what I'm saying? So at the start that is to get in the books and question yourself, like, yeah, if you got a history lesson today and it's speaking about Jesus or whatever they're speaking about, alright then, let me open up the Bible then. Alright, that's what it says. Can I find that anywhere else in any other thing? Is because in this Bible he says he is the all, and all means everything, which is what's in this room and what is made out of in this space. So that's what verifies it, because when you do go back to the class or wherever you are, your mind clicks, like your body just knows, like, no, but right, so now that thing is telling me no, but it's gonna make you search now for the thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I got here, because I was asking questions. Why am I like this? Why do I feel like this? You know what I'm saying? Not like in the bad way why I feel like this, but why do I think these things? Like, why do I walk past petrol station and I see a key in the car and not now, but instant, my mind is thinking, yo, jump in the car. You know what I'm saying? But now it's control, that I look at it and it's like, just laugh. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's the big thing, like running, like, and I was like, just walk, not to laugh it off, you know what I'm saying? Or walk past that yard with it and it's some big posh yard car and the windows are open, like, I can creep in that window now. I was laughing it off, you know what I'm saying? So, these things are practice. You need to practice the ego of these things. So
to break them.
So when you do go back to it, your body and your mind verifies it. Like, oh my days, do you know what? It is actually true. Like our hair. Yeah, we have hair. Yeah, and it's electric. It's electricity. Yeah, this is static. Like it stands up like and holds its shape. You know what I'm saying? And obviously in science they say that gravity dominates the earth pushing down. So how does our hair stand like an afro and hold its shape? You know what I'm saying? So it's showing again in science that the balance of nature, like we are balanced with nature and nature is balanced with us. So, you know, when you straighten your hair, you fried it. It's dead. It's like putting it in the fryer. You know what I'm saying?
That's why it drops.
It drops. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't hair no more. This is fur. You know what I'm saying? Like the cat and the bear and the dog and you know what I'm saying? Like it's straight. You know what I'm saying? So that's not hair when it's in that form, and it can't do certain things when it's in that form. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand what it is, you will want to know more, and that's how you do find more on these certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because when your hair falls out, or even your beard, next time people, anyone ladies or female, look at it, and it will curl up into a 9, and it's showing you that this is how we,
that 9.
yeah, this is how we swirl through the gravity. This is how our hair stands up in an afro. You know what I'm saying? Because we are the balance of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually knowing. So you'll treat it more. You won't dash in 10 million products to make it go faster. Like, how come it's not working this way? And how come it's not working that way? And you just leave it and just let the sun deal with it. And just turn it into nappy. Because scientific fact now that nappy can cure things. You know what I'm saying? Can cure cancer. Because it's drawing out, it's drawing it all out through your hair. You know what I'm saying? Through the waves. And obviously with like certain hard food like yam and certain things got starch in it, but which is good for it. But if you've got too much of that, your nappy hair again when you sit in the sun draws the starch out from feet upwards out into the air. Because once you're in the hair and you get past the hair, you get into the air.
So what would you say then anyway, in the sense of the community, through lack of education, yeah, the community, if one don't know themselves, then the community as a whole, they don't know themselves. So how do we as a people now build back together? Like, how do we get that community love like what it used to be back in the ancient times and back in the days, etc.?
The only way is the youngers, yeah. So shout out to all the youngers and the one who was actually listening right now, yeah, to the Prince. Like the young ones are the chosen ones. Yeah, I promise you, chosen ones. Your mind is pure and fresh. Like you haven't got nothing locked inside there to even judge things unless you're shown. So to our elders, obviously much more respect, but it's not too late because nothing ain't too late, but it's semi-late because because we're so far into this Jesus thing and this Bible thing. It's hard to pull you all the way back to make you overstand and not understand, because under means I stand, you stand under me. If I say you understand and you agree, that means you stand under me. So for you to overstand, to bring it up like gods. So like when you look at the Bible, we're looking down like gods, looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Give you the overview point when you look down. You know what I'm saying? So the older generation, to bring them all the way back to what we're trying to come with, it's going to be as hard because they've got that Jesus and all that thing so much in their soul. It's hard for them to let go of it because they're going to feel like if they turn away, they're back against Jesus or God. They don't know who to turn to or what's going to happen or sins and hell and all this.
Obviously, into just for one to seek truth out there, to know. Obviously, then if you're into Jesus, then find out who Jesus is. Because Jesus is not Jesus, because it would be Yahshua when you go back into time and who you are as an ancient people. So it's about educating yourself and educating each other around, so each other can obviously get back in the days when everything was like word of mouth. It was oral. And then by the oral and by the word of mouth, we can look up the things what one another say and to verify it and to confirm it, and then obviously we know that it's facts and truth.
Because that's what, as elders, we would have done anyway. If you come from another, I don't know, from the east or the west, or where you come from, to a new ends, I don't know, Egypt, you're like, oh yeah, I'm red straight. Like, yeah man, I'm feeling your swag still. Like, yeah man, what, you got a one book? Yeah man, let me see what that book say, and I open my book and we do that thing. But for the youngers now, because they haven't been in that system yet, it's all stopped now. Like we was last generations getting brought to church, Sunday school, picked up by the bus, you know what I'm saying? But the ones who will be slowly falling into that, they can't know about Jesus and that. They have to, they can, but now that's not now. They need to learn this new thing now. So by the time they get to our age, their mindset is on that set. You know what I'm saying? Because if they start learning all that stuff from our generation now, then they get pulled in that same spell.
But what's going on now anyway, the children and the youth, they're questioning certain things anyway because they've been seeing this white Jesus or this white thing in their family member's house. If it's not their mum or dad, then it's their grandparents.
To ask them.
No, but sometimes people have got sense. The youth them are very bright. Like you said, the youth them are the future. So the elders never asked no questions. That's why obviously they accepted what they accepted. But the youth now, we're coming from a rebellious time. We're coming from a time where the youth don't want to uprise. The people want to know truth. They want to stand for truth. Because they're real. And if you are real, then you would question things when it don't look like it's real. You with me? So what's going on now? People have got all these modern technology, phones, iPads, computers, etc., etc. It's quick access to obviously the big wide web. You get me? So in this web you can access anything and find out whatever you want to find out. Not everything's going to be truth, but surely the more you dig, the more the truth you're going to find. One way or the other, because obviously if you don't look that way, you look next way, or go through a book or a library or whatever. From when you got the root what you want to look for, you don't stop until you find it. You with me?
And that's the only way. Like it's good. Is telling you the thing when we see in the streets, like this is the power, this is the thing, this is the thing.
It's street education.
But when we leave you that day and we give you the thing, you will be vibing like, yo, that man on some different level. But you got to go search and look for it, because all what's gonna happen with a bumpy tea again, and it's just gonna be a nice vibes again. But if you don't go back and look on it, then how do you know that we're telling the thing? You know what I'm saying? Because that's how you verify our thing as well. Because we're telling you something where it's coming from a source. So, like you're saying, the iPhones. The iPhone was here before. It was all here. It was here in the ancient time. It was sent down for the Nubian women, because the Nubians was the ones who was like more into communicating, and their brain was a bit more, obviously they're the big gods, so their brain was whizzing more than us. I'm saying they learned how to speak because they had the voice box and they learned how to speak. So the iPhone was actually for the women, what got sent down by the ancestors for more information to access. But because of today's day and age, it's been reborn again. The information is being misled and mashed up, and they're using it for themselves and selfies and not networking with it. You know what I'm saying? Because man can see the Wi-Fi sign on the wall. The same Wi-Fi sign, the logo, it's on the wall. I say that, and these phones are there, and obviously.
On the wall, that's the wall of Kemi when he says on the wall.
On the wall in Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
Airplanes, helicopters,
everything was there. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, like we say, we've said it. Research it up, and then when you see it, your vibe will just tell you like, no, I need to know more. You know what I'm saying? So the iPhone was for the Nubian women, because there was more of communication with different planets in different solar systems and different things. So when they sent that down to Earth, that was for Earth to send out the information and the knowledge. But it's been reborn again. But obviously it's in a cycle where we've just come out of the moon cycle, we're coming to the sun cycle now. So who's ever in charge are the ones who are coming with the technology. So the women are using it for the right things and for the wrong things. So shout out to the Nubian sisters who are giving the information with the phones, and the ones who are doing selfies and with the dog thing with the nose, with the licking and guidance, and the thing with the mask right here, with the dot on the nose and all that. That is all the right information, you know, because all what you're going to do, guidance people, all what you're going to do,
love that.
Yes, my dad. Yeah, say, all what you're going to do is manifest that negative. And all what you're going to do is manifest that egoism, because one picture leads to a next selfie, to a next selfie, to a next position, to this side, to that side, to this mask, to the dog, to the nose thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's exercising that vibe. So one day when you do bump into someone who you think, oh, he's alright, and you're trying to come with that thing, and he's like, yo, move that out the way, I'm not into them things. Because that's not his vibe. So don't see it as a disappointment and disappoint yourself, like, yo, what, see, your mama's not really on it, like, he's not really on my vibes. Because yes, he's not on your vibes. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to reach to his level and see what he's on, come out of that vibe. You know what I'm saying? And rather just doing 10 million selfies a day, do a selfie on yourself by putting your face in the book. You know what I'm saying? And read it.
Yo, the shout out to all the kings what just obviously rolled up in the kingdom spot.
Yeah.
You know me. royal family right about now, you with me, link up, you with me, and sit, you with me, one order the thing, you with me, one family tree, you with me, so.
But definitely the youngest, man, we need them because,
need the youngest,
like I was saying,
it's good that they can hear
got no fear,
you
know what I'm saying, no fear, and that's what the Most High comes in.
So
no fear, you know what I'm saying, pure divine.
Alright, then you see, like,
you know what I'm saying, the smile in you, you're like, hey yo,
we as black
and then there's a big snake look at you like, and then the kids look at it like, hey yo, and the snake's not even doing nothing, but we're like, yo, listen to the snake. And it's a my man, but he don't care. No fear.
No fear.
You know what I'm saying? So when you show him that from all the way, and then you show him, yo, you know what? You remember that snake and that picture? Look, yo, check the fear, man. Man got that staff with the snake, man, because he wasn't scared. You know what I'm saying? And then now and then that's how he becomes the Pharaoh, because he wants to be Pharaoh now. Because Heru or hero comes from Heru, the word hero. You know what I'm saying? They just flip the last words. You know what I'm saying? To the U to the O. So this is how you show your youths who he was. Because we need to do a lot of animation as well, people. Because I don't know if people know a rapper called Killer Priest, is part of the Wu-Tang, but type in Killer Priest, the track called Angel Wings and Lotus Flower, but his videos are like animated cartoons. Because some of his lyrics are deep, but when you see it visually in your eyes, you know what he's talking about.
Telling you about
You know what I'm saying? So like, when you this is how I need to show the kids visually. Like, yo, with the gods, with the kings, with the queens, you know what I'm saying? I was listening to what my oldest were listening, my older brothers, so it was Biggie Smalls, Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, Wu-Tang for life, you know what I'm saying, like Wu-Tang all the way, and a bit of like TRU and that. And then when I like left school now, it was like garage. Yeah, so garage kicked in, but
garage time.
Yeah, garage, but it was like pure garage days, but I wasn't really a pure garage man, cause that's when grime come out now in London and Skepta and all them man.
That was liquid later though.
Yeah, semi, yeah. And then but the pure garage days, I was more like house and garage. It was called House and Bass. Yeah, which was from like the Birmingham. Shout out Birmingham anyway, massive. But them days it was Zola and Styles. Yeah, it was called the BDs, bass developers. So like they were like house and garage and house and bass, a little more up tempo. And then after from evolving from that now, because I used to do spit on grime and that, do sets and that. Shout out to Flames as well, DJ Flames and all the man them in the sets. You know what I'm saying? Too much things to mention. It was the grime, and then it's like hip hop wasn't there no more for some reason. And then now it's like it's just back in my life. It's just back. So but all this time getting on knowledge, music is what the universe sings. Yeah, because each planet has a vibration. You know what I'm saying? A sound. So the sun has a home sound, which the Buddhists do when they do their chant. You know what I'm saying? Venus has got like a lightning strike sound. You know what I'm saying? Saturn's got some some different noise, some different sound. So when all these planets are in harmonization, it creates a music, like a sound. So when I realize now that the universe is in me as well, and all this time, like I say, my eyes awake now. All this time, it's not just music. We're spitting on the mic. It's like, yo, this thing can control you and affect your brain, and you can put classical music on it, and it can reset your brain and make you think different. And you know what I'm saying? Cause this is what all these.
You can play with people's emotions.
Emotions, yeah. So now
can make people love you, or can make people hate you.
Yeah. So now my music now is when I make music now, it's like my inspiration was from the hip hop and that from anyway, but it's still in there, and it's like R&B influence. Cause I don't really listen to all that new stuff sometimes. Like I do when I'm around man them's yard and that, but because I don't have internet in my yard and that, I'm not really trying to listen to that level, because when I vibe to it and I make a beat, I'm making them man's level. So Smoke, shout out Smokes, because my true More Lions made it in your house. Yeah, More Lions track. The More Lions track made it in your house, and it was mad because when I found that beat again on my level, I was like, yo, show me this in Smokes. No, this is that Smokes tune. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write something deep to this. You know what I'm saying? More Lions tape, because I understood what the music is now. Like it's messages, and you know what I'm saying, these things can go inside your waves and stay there, because your brain is actually like a disc, like a record. You know what I'm saying? And everything's being recorded now. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you feel that in your brain, yeah, that's like the needle on the record's gone like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like you glitch in your life a little bit. So when I read them bars there, cause I thought of you as well, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, man, this is smokes this as well, and like this is where man was just brewing like a little thing like this, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't packed out, but the way how man are making these beats, fam, man would think that we was in the big thing, you know, like the big £1 million studio, like the big thing. So
we have to pluck it.
Yeah, like the everything, like the big thing. But all this time, it's like on the first Mac, them white ones, like the first Mac you can get. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I'm beating up the thing. So when I'm writing these bars, I'm like, no, this got more lines. Like this isn't just a track like what man put on YouTube and that. This is like a message. You know what I'm saying? So the message was, this is the message. Selling you a vision, not a dream. Just imagine if the world was all nice and all clean. The water's all clean, the fluoride, the chlorine, the air that we breathe. Tropical by the sea, if you know what I mean. Cause looks can be deceived if you follow the procedures. Something like Chesson trying to take down the queen. I'm a prince, so you know I'm shutting down the scene. No hesitation, straight from Elohims. Trying to build my camp, yeah, I'm trying to build my team. Couple 100 million strong, we're holding that team. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey type team. But I'm not gonna tell you I had a dream. All I can say, we was all kings and queens. We left the face on the wall, we left it clean. We built the pyramids, fam. I am mean, more lions. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't a trap just to be like, yo, I can't check my bars. No, because I knew what music was now. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was verse 2. So I'm talking to my people. I know that life is hard and it ain't equal. We're all lion and lionesses up in the sequel. And if you don't believe me, then come check my people. More lions, we're filled with more lions, and we're on a unity thing, fam. We're all trying. I say we call it unlock. Top of the food chain, yeah, we on top. More lion for life, can't stop, won't stop. Cause everything we can handle it. Got the right wisdom and the right understanding it. Cause everyone here is a manager, so prepare for the management. You know we're coming in packs, but you don't have to watch your back. Cause we're coming with the knowledge, then we're coming with the facts. It's more lions, fam, and that is that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about, oh, I'm gonna be famous. No, it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? It's about the message. You know what I'm saying? And I hope people that was in your disc. You know what I'm saying? Because for you to get that again, you have to rewind that again to see what I said again. You know what I'm saying? And it's good, and it's, you know what I'm saying? Repeat. You know what I'm saying? So this is the movement, you know what I'm saying? Watch out for the video coming soon anyway. Like.
So what do you think about the other people them out there what's in Nottingham pushing out their music then? Anybody inspires you? Anyone who you'd like to work with?
I would like to work with everybody. I'm not gonna lie, with all the artists, because personally what I want them to do is just feel my vibe in it. Done, because there's a bigger mission of them music, but that's how we start the mission within the music. You know what I'm saying? Because spreading it. Because once I start showing them, like, yo, when it was that letter C just don't mean C. Like, damn, that letter C is the same vibration as planet Earth. Damn, you know what I'm saying? And the letter A is the same note as when a baby cries when it first comes into the earth through the womb. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And the D is the frequency of the body. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you see D, E, on the chord, that's earth, body, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Spiritual. Right. So it's proven fact that these vibrations can mess with our bodies. You know what I'm saying?
But also can heal our body.
And heal, you know what I'm saying? But because we're not in control of the music, our body's getting mashed up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, females feed off from note C, middle C here, females, middle C and upwards. You know what I'm saying? Males, middle C and lower, yeah? Bass, that's how you feel. So that's why the 808 is booming today. Because the males, you know what I'm saying? And the top ones is like female, R&B, harps, all them things there, you know what I'm saying? So when you got the new Jordan on advert, it's not the Jordan what's getting us, the music. You know what I'm saying? And it's playing from C octave and down. Cause that's how we feel, you know what I'm saying? And then when it's the woman, the new Mac, this make up this. It's from C and upwards, baby.
That mind control then.
Yeah, to make you want it, because the lipstick was a part of it, but the music was like the main bit of it. You know what I'm saying? Put behind it, because there's always the light back cover behind the thing. You know what I'm saying?
You say that in the entertainment business today, then especially in the music world, then throughout all the things what they are trying to promote, then is it the music what we're liking, or is it because of the beats we follow? Like, you know, like, cause like, I kind of like we saying like, what's it called, the Pied Piper kind of like, where led the free, led the black mice. Right. So it's the sound what we're following. It's not what necessarily what they're saying.
No,
it is what they're saying, but it's the music, the sound what activates it.
Yes.
So because that's what,
because our ears
control mentally.
Yes. Because our ears
like we said, the keys where them use, like Rihanna and Lady Gaga. We notice that them use certain keys where they capture certain. Especially women,
yes.
Like when they see all the girls them drunk and them thing there, them just want to hear Rihanna and them thing, them run to DJ, can I have some Rihanna? This, Rihanna.
Yeah.
You get me? That's what the demons want them to feel and feel that vibration. You get me? Yeah, you're right.
That's what it is. So like the music thing, yo, shout out to everyone who's in this music thing anyway, because obviously you're already there doing it, but you got to know the knowledge of it now, you know what I'm saying? Because the knowledge of music.
How do we break the spells then from obviously the man them what obviously are using it to manipulate the youth them to gangbang, to war each other? How do we break that spell to make love and unity? How do we make that cool then? Because that's what we need to start pushing. Like, instead of making the gangbanging and the gang life and all the I robbed you and you robbed me and I took your girl and you took Ray. How do we lock off them through the music? Because usually music just promoting foolishness. And then obviously man follow foolishness or women follow foolishness. So how do we get that positive vibrations through the music to be those Pied Pipers but lead them in a positive light?
Lead by example, obviously. One is lead by example by putting out your own sound or your own vibration. Yeah, and it's just for people to see like, oh yeah man, it's cool. But it's what I've learned in this music thing. It's how you word your words. It's how you word your words with these sounds and these flows. Like you got to be like, in fact, better than Shakespeare. Because everyone's on Shakespeare. You got to be like the Pharaoh or some Atwa, Sepentemewa, which is Ramesses II, you know what I'm saying, and all these type of films, like
real great.
Yeah, real great. It's like writing songs, like these songs was like the Psalms in the Bible was like basically like poems. Like these pharaohs used to sit on a cliff and like that and then back to the sun. Like it's looking at this view what you can see. And it's just deep and it's like, thank you son for giving me the view and you know like what you can see, you know what I'm saying? So like certain the way you word these things. Like Jadakiss, he's a prime example. Yeah, he will say 2 words, and he can paint the whole picture in your mind. Yeah, you know, like, it just drops the 2 and the 2. But you think, yo, how come I didn't think of them words? And it's so simple, you know. You know what I'm saying? See, like I said, like, cause I was on this currency wave for a bit, and on all these waves, I'm saying all them, and even my brother and like, some of my boys have dashed all them away. Currency, like, no disrespect. But all them man got dashed away. All them CDs, currency, LA get all them man who on that weed way, smoking weed all that way, dash away, because all they're talking about is cars, weed and gear, you know what I'm saying? And I got back to my Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and Wu-Tang was about like
the bare knowledge.
No, the 36, get me?
Chambers, I'm saying, Sons of Man,
you know what I'm saying? Again, them man was giving you the knowledge and
Killer Army, so back them days I was hearing it, but now I've got the knowledge now, and I listen back to it again, no, my brain's like, these man are talking some different thing from day, even like cannabis and them man, I'm saying, from day, so now, comments is, look, I can't even think of them other ones. They're dashed away because they're not in my mind anymore. Dash all them CDs away, Wu-Tang. Because even though they still talk about the scriptures and the Bible, them things, they're in the thing, it's still the thing. You know what I'm saying? And you know what they're on about and they're showing you in cartoons. So I'm on that vibe. Cause they put in work to make a cartoon. If you know what I mean? On most of their videos and them things like that. And obviously, woo, the word woo, well not the word woo but woo. Because I'm on this, I'm on all knowledge, but mainly Malachi is York, so it's Wunawapu. So same again, the word Wu again, so it all lines up to the Wu-Tang. They were speaking about the scriptures, you know what I'm saying? Chosen one. Osiris was saying that he was, ODB was saying he was Osiris, you know what I'm saying, the chosen one. And
so where would the youths them get to find out this knowledge then, and these things were obviously you're talking
yeah,
about?
because back them days we had like selected disc in it and certain shops where you could go and buy the CDs and that, but nowadays you can't. So the only thing is YouTube. Just type in like Wu-Tang, Killer Priest, Killer Army, Sons of Mans, Hellraiser. Obviously, like obviously your main ones, Method Man, Raekwon and RZA, like they were like the starters of the starters. But some of them people who was finding the other teams, some of them had like some different knowledge in it. Like obviously like RZA, he's got some different knowledge, but his flow is a bit different for man to grasp. You know, his flow is a bit different. But some of these other camps who was bringing in, yo, these man had their minds full of it. It's so much, too much knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Too much. So that's what I'm back on. Yeah, obviously no disrespect to currencies and all them. You know what I'm saying? And people there, but they have to get dashed away.
So then, obviously, what you say, like back in the day, like from the old school hip hop culture, the old school rap, the old school reggae, it was more telling you about who you was.
Yes, because back in them days, the rap groups was telling you about who they was as a clique. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
About real life.
Yeah, we're the cliques, we're the dance, we're the this, we're the that. You know what I'm saying? What you know about, like, that's why like Jay and them, man, because sometimes you'll hear something like, whoa.
They'll give you some wisdom.
He'll give you something like, I don't know, you don't know about, because this is just random freestyle, so like, something like, you don't know about the part when it, I don't know, something, anyway, but basically, how you said this, yeah, or why you said this, you wouldn't know because you wasn't in that environment or around them people doing these things. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do in that clique. But today's day and age now, it's like, I've got this, I've got the what, I've got the, yeah. That's some showing off thing. When really, people were talking about their clique and their ends, basically we're not on nothing, but this is what we're on. If you bring it, if need be. You know what I'm saying? But when you bring back to like Wu-Tang and them, man, they was telling you like, no, with the gods. You know what I'm saying? Like even this sketch. God, now it makes sense. They'll be like, what up, God? Yes, God. You know what I'm saying? Because they know each other who we are now. We're God beings, we're spirit beings. Where you at, God? You know what I'm saying? Meet me at the God hour. You know what I'm saying? God hours, 9 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. These are the God hours when the certain things open. So, like, even the skits isn't making sense now when I hear them on the phone. Like, yeah, man, meet me at the God hour, man. And Malachi talked to us about the hours, you know what I'm saying? So, these are like your future ancestors. Because these was doing this 25, 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Kind of be speaking about Nibiru and the galaxies and the light and all this alignment, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the new generation, I'm not gonna lie, it will be hard for you lot to grasp if you are gonna have a dive into them things, because today's day and age flow is like dumbed down.
Obviously they're talking about Molly and what this, that, and
they say like 3 words like whatever. Like am I have Molly?
Dabbing and all this thing there, it's all about some foolishness, like poisoning, polluting the minute to do the foolishness, because you see them doing this dabbing there, or you're doing this Molly, or you're doing this new alcohol what they're promoting, you get me? So you really
so there was like 3 words and a break and another 3 words, and so you know what they're saying. But when it's like, damn man, now Killer Priest, these man are constantly flowing, so you have to listen to what they're saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 70, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Mom's organs, yeah, 70. In the Christ with the, what's it called, Masada? Mom's organs, yeah, 70. Mom's organs, yeah, 70. The year was the weaponry, no, mom's organs, yeah, 70. The year was the weaponry. Christ was the ruling of the, nah, this is too deep. And then he goes in, cries, Nefertiti, chill with the finest. I don't want to start because little, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Sucked on the finest titties, a Nefertiti. She greet me, something when she, you know what I'm saying? Like basically saying that I come through a woman's organs in this year. You know what I'm saying? The year of the God year, I was sucking on the finest titties, Nefertitis. I'm saying getting groomed and all these things. I'm saying chill with the women, the kings, the havens. Some of them was you know what I'm saying? They're telling you the thing. We chill with the kings, bow when the ceilings, you know what I'm saying? Greetings when the you know what I'm saying? They're telling you like, so you have to listen to what they're saying because these men are giving you the thing. You know what I'm saying? And once more you listen, when you hear that dumb down rap fam, there's too much breaks in it. You're like, nah, turn it over my next track. You know what I'm saying? Next track. That's how it works. So Wu-Tang were not the founders of like the music or the whole thing, but there was the founders of a new sound and a new movement, and you know what I'm saying, cause they was influencing Kung Fu. You know what I'm saying? Kung Fu samples and skits and like samples, you know what I'm saying? Like how dare you know what I'm saying? And you're not the master, you know what I'm saying? Because everyone is a master, you know what I'm saying? But when the man saying he's a master of you, no, I'm the master. So they're showing you like, no, we're all masters. Show me your master skill then. Yeah. So now you be like, yo, what are these man on?
They was just taking back what was obviously given to them, like shown to them, but they just was reclaiming what was ours.
Yeah,
but from the ancient times.
They couldn't bring you all day. If they'd actually from that level, because if they took you past there, the brain won't be able to comprehend yet. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know for full facts, but obviously Malachi Z York obviously like he's got bare use. You know what I'm saying? But one fact is, Menace to Society, the producers, they're his sons. You know what I'm saying? But like a little whistleblower meant to be. Older Bastard was meant to be his son. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Griffin. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at these people, they look like Malachi Z York. You know what I'm saying? But obviously I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So, but it was proven fact that some of his own family set them up in it because they went to the other side of the Masonry side. Not saying not the Ethiopian or that side of they were on the European thing. So if it does turn out that ODB is part of that lineage, that's where all this knowledge was coming from, the Wu-Tang, Wu-Nawapu, you know what I'm saying? All this knowledge, because it was coming from them, but they just wanted to be on this rap thing, because Malachi Z York was a singer at one stage, you know what I'm saying? He used to sing, he was on Top of the Pops back in the day, you can type him in. Malachi Z York, yeah, Top of the Pops. You know what I'm saying? He was in the music scene, the film industry as well. But that was that time, you know what I'm saying? But when it's time now, it's time, because, but yeah, man.
Time.
Throw away the egos, and the egos is simple. Like I said, even though people who do or don't, but like I said, if your mum says, "Oh, no, not what it is, but this is what it is." When your mum or someone says, "Oh, I beg you wash them pots for me," and you get that, that thing there, that exact, that needs to get dashed away.
Trust me.
Yeah, dash away, straight away, because that is what will stop you from the spark of life. Remember, everything's a spark of life, innit? That one thought can create a spark of a new life. You know what I'm saying? This 15-year-old a millionaire now at the age of 19 because what was it? He got all the fabrics, like waste fabrics of like clothes and materials and that, yeah, and recycle them as bow ties. Like you can actually make little bow ties out of them, yeah, which kind of makes millionaire now. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that it stops the spark. You know what I'm saying? And when you're like, oh yeah man, I do that. Obviously, like you don't do it because if you do see them taking the piss with it, then that's when another thing you practice now. Like no, like don't be afraid to ask like, yo, what are you taking the piss or obviously I will hope man that, but it's not every time. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I'm saying? So that thing what makes you go, that just dash that away, and it will be a lot better place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not to say, oh, I beg you pass me this, or I beg you grab me that from in that room there, or I don't know.
Like and have manners and
yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is. Some people might see something what's normal to them, what's not normal. Could be anything. I don't know. They'll probably wipe down the side with something what we don't wipe that down the side with, and we say, oh, you know what, fam, we don't even use that, you know. We use this. Yeah, just them little things there. Just get you there. Yeah, because before you know, you actually know what it is.
Allow the ignorance.
Yeah, and then that's how, like you said, we get back to our real pure ancient times, because we only used to speak when we only used to. We didn't really used to speak, because we used to speak in signs and symbols. You know what I'm saying? So, like the Latin and the Greek man them again done the spell again. So when they got the A, which is really a pyramid, you know what I'm saying? And the O is the sun or the moon, you know what I'm saying? And the S is a snake. You know what I'm saying? But in symbols now, to read that, you can rearrange them anyway. So you could do like, let's say, the snake and the sun, and what's the end? The end's not, not the Milky Way that is. So that would be like the serpent, sun, not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In symbols. But in school, when I actually spell sun, you're spelling it S-U-N. Or S-O-N, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because it's two ways, you know what I'm saying? So now, this is how you put spells on yourself. Because you're writing in signs and symbols. You know what I'm saying? So now, like I said, when we get back to that where we need to speak, everything's nice, because people who's got missuses, back them days, your missus would just know, she would look at you and she would just know that you're hungry. She wouldn't even have to say what you want, she would just cook the thing and put it on the table, done. You know what I'm saying? That's how things was, but then a man would have to appreciate that thing. Yeah, and like 9 times out of 10, yeah, you do say thank you, but 9 times out of 10, you didn't have to say thank you, yeah? Because you said it in your mind anyway, and she knew you said it in the mind because she felt the way when she brought it to you, she had like a vibe come over, not saying like she felt something, a presence. So that was her verification for saying, saying, yo, thank you, babe, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you practice on your vibes even more. Once you know your thing and you practice on it even more, it's too powerful. Before you know, like, I look at you and you're already passing the lighter. Because you know I want the light. You know, that's obviously what we're starting now. We might not even see it in our lifetime, but we're here recording it, jotting it down right now, and recording what I'm saying to make this thing happen. Yeah, because this is what our ancestors done. Like, they left the pyramids, they left the carvings, they left the statues to say, yo, this is who we are. And when you look, I haven't been to one in Egypt, I've been to one in Mexico, pyramids.
I've been to
Egypt, yeah, but when you see these things, it actually like embraces your whole heart, like, yo, what? Yo, who made these? So if on the wall it's saying that it was us, our ancestors, and they're with us, walk with us, are in us, in our bloodstream, and is us, then we've got to leave an impact for the youngers as well, because the only thing what will be left if we don't is the only thing what the system's built up on left, you know what I'm saying? Because right about now in Egypt, you know what I'm saying, the system are paying people to knock down faces off the walls still and knock down certain walls, you know what I'm saying? So
why is that?
To wipe away our history for who we are. And not as a physical being, as a spiritual being, as a supreme being. So now, let's say future school now, like 100 years from now or 50 years from now, the history lesson in school wouldn't be on Jesus no more, and it wouldn't be on them things no more. It would just be what was left from what the system's built upon. So it would be on things like the churches, the Catholic stuff, and what's new? Architecture now. Then at the university, like architecture and things like that. They will be the things what will be in history left.
About what's left behind by us.
That's what I'm saying. If we don't do it now, because they're building now today these things, then the nothing left. Yeah, because the ancestors left that for us to say, yo,
to hold on to.
Yeah, we need to do something, but we might not be able to build things like them, but we can show
greatness.
Yeah, because what's in us is in them. Like what it says, like, yo, we put this spirit in you, this soul in you. So we are not a human, we're a spirit. We're a spirit. We're a soul. So, and this soul can do many things. Yeah, because what it's made out of is the ether, the 9 ether, the gases. You know what I'm saying? But this gases has many levels, which is hard levels and soft levels. So the soft levels would be the gas, which would be like if you turn the kettle on and you see the steam coming out ready to boil, that would be the soft level, which is in the middle, and the hard level would be like this thing here, the gold, which is the same thing, but this gold can melt down to a soft level. So, yeah.
So if you had anything to say to the elders about unifying and uniting, what would you say?
That don't be afraid, because fear is where the devil wants us. Don't be afraid to let go of the things what you learned from when you was born until now, because it was a lie, you know. And why it's a lie? Because we need proof. Everything has like everything has what's the word, progress. You know what I'm saying? So even before the Bible got to my grandma's generation, that Bible was well around before my grandma's generation, and even till today, it's still the same. Like the church hasn't progressed. Like every Sunday when you should go to church, it should be different. Like you should be excited. Like, but if I went to church this Sunday, I know it would be the same when I was in church when I was like 10. The same things being spoken.
Yeah, they haven't improved. They haven't upgraded.
Yeah, on the language.
They haven't seen truth.
Yeah, on nothing like that. They haven't even. Obviously, churches do Bible studies, but are they actually studying in the Bible, or are they just going by it?
Or what the slave master gave them?
Yeah, because back in them days, when we was finding out in slavery that when there was slave master was allowing some of the, well, we weren't slaves, but we speak down to that level, when they was allowing some of the slaves to talk in the church, on the stand, there was actually like his slave master behind him at the side.
Allowing him to say so.
Yeah, and as soon as he mentioned something like Allah, or the Most High, or anything down them frequencies, yeah, he would have got the whip or something. You know what I'm saying? So it was showing that he was training these people the knowledge, and in time, when he had kids and he had kids, it was just normal. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Rome's and shout out to Flames, Powers. Yeah. So
yes.
the one who was being given the permission by the slave master to teach that knowledge, he would have been the first seed to hold that knowledge, and then when his kids had kids, they would have passed down that knowledge, and that would have seemed so normal to them, because that's just what it is. So the new generations now of them seeds is like our grandmas and our granddads. Like it's just in them, like naturally. You know what I'm saying? It's normal. Like they will tell you a scripture from the without even looking at it. So don't be afraid to show that, because the fact is that Bible was around well before our great grandmas was here, and still today it still hasn't elevated nobody. My grandma's still in the same place, saying the same Jesus on the wall. I'm saying the same thing. The schools, it's failed everybody. Yeah, that system didn't work. We tried the schools. I'm saying we tried the religion, didn't work. The television failed. It didn't work. We watched it. It programmed me. And it didn't do nothing for me. It just made me just get into the wrong paths.
We allowed him to water down our music.
Yeah, and then the music now, it is and it's not, but you don't throw that away.
It's slack, it's gone slack.
It's gone slack, yeah. So once you know what a bass is and what it can do, and what it can do to when water is played next to it, where you see it shift, and like when it's played at a certain wavelength. Wow. A-Wall, shout out to A-Wall as well, Birmingham crew.
Oh,
yes,
you're from the camera.
Yeah, man, Powers, guidance.
Powers.
Yeah. So when you see certain guidance, when you see certain sign, yes, my dad. What you saying?
Little man.
Yeah. What you saying? Let's up. When you see that these sounds can shift the water and shape like this, certain sound. Our body is 75% made up of water. So when you know in the wave or wherever you are, this is what's happening to our body. Boom, 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 boom. It's absorbing the vibration, you know what I'm saying? And this is why sometimes your ears might ring when you get home, and when you go to sleep you can hear it. This is altering your mind.
So then what? Because the elders don't know certain things, they couldn't teach the youngers certain things. So
yes.
If the elders re-educate their soul, and obviously the youngers obviously with the elders conversate and pass on certain knowledge between each other, will you say that? That could work.
Yeah, because we're not telling the oldest to dash away the Bible or dash away their thing. Keep walk with that, because I can show you how them things there you can use in court against the system. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm in court for a water bill, water, are you mad? Water. Alright, then check this. In the Bible it says that we are from the Most High, and the Most High is, and we've got natural given God rights to survive on earth, because our body is 75% made of water. So how can you charge me for something? In fact, wait there. Let me get some water now. And I jump on the spot like that in court, yeah, and make a sweat out of myself. I made that drop in the cup, yeah, and say, right, you see this? You charging me for this, yeah? You know what I'm saying? And obviously when you show them who you are, they can't charge you for that, because that's my natural God-given land rights, fam. I need water to survive. Yeah, so if you want to charge me, still charge me, innit? but you just know the power of what's going to happen when you sign that signature.
But then
that's
kind of
like,
that's what like the free man live by, and then say like the gypsies and all those live by.
Yeah, because they know.
They live by the law where it's the true law.
Yeah.
Where obviously the law with their systems on, that's what obviously is catching back the man them on the road, because obviously we don't know the law, we don't know how to obviously work.
Come on now.
Yeah, we don't know how to work
with
it
it
for ourselves.
Yeah, work with it. When you show them in the scriptures that it says that this is who we are and what it is, like I didn't say it and you didn't say it, this is what God says in your Bible, then how are you to judge me? Because it says in there in some scripture it says don't someone about judge. Someone who judges someone is to be judged or whatever. So the word judge, and they're called judges as well. So you're judging me, you're gonna get judged as well.
So that's to the elders then. So what about the
youngers? What was it again?
Because obviously we need unity in it between the elders and the youngsters, because obviously the elders will tell the youngsters, oh, they're too unruly or they're not listening, or we can't connect with them.
Yeah.
So if the elders obviously know their self and obviously know that obviously you lot was lied to, and obviously educate on what's missing within them, then they can come back to the youth them and say, yeah, well, we made certain errors or we've gone certain
yeah. Lead by example as well, even though we don't want to do it. But so let's get back on that one. Sorry, the youngers more time need to get back on the family. You know, like your cousins and your aunties you don't really see.
Everybody linking back.
Yeah, go like that. Yeah, because some of them man them who you might have beef with or you might not, or you see, they might actually know your auntie. In a sense, because your auntie, because your auntie who takes their son to that school, go to the same school. You know what I'm saying? And this is how the vibes and things will link up now, because now once your auntie knows that she knows your my man who you kind of really don't know,
who you connected to.
Yeah, connected to in a sense. It makes it more better. And then once you're connected, that's when there might be a time where you can be talk out openly now. In a sense, like, oh, you know what, I'm on the night, when I first seen you, I was thinking, yo, obviously, I don't know who you are, but yeah, you know what I'm saying, but all the time, you know, my aunt,
a different view of
now and then he's telling you about your aunt, like, yo, your aunt is serious, you know, your aunt is weary, and weary, who's your cousin, and you're like, what, and that's you know what I'm saying, and you're weary, so now you know, if any trouble, and they see your cousin or whatnot, they'll be like, no, lie that, you know what I'm saying, because that's weary.
Actually, my man's alright, I thought he was an idiot, I thought he was a dickhead, but he's alright, he's cool with.
But
you broke the ice. It's about breaking the ice sometimes. Sometimes having time to obviously, you with me, like, not just judge people. You with me, go to a man and say, yeah, cool. Or if a man, you get me, don't screw up your face, just look at a man, just give him a one nod or something. You get me, just to break the ice, and then you can see that no, actually, a man's cool. You get me, like that vibration what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you with me?
Because now when I found out that was linked up to my man because he got killed. You know what I'm saying?
Enough time people.
Yeah, and I feel all bare people are bawling. Like you see people who you just think you would know them people just bare screaming bawling, and you're thinking, yo.
But that's how ignorant.
Yeah. So just imagine if that was reversed in the way, like I said, all that screaming and bawling, that pain. Just imagine if that was joy and laughter and happiness. Different vibration again. You know what I'm saying? But people would rather scream and bawl it out, and then in their mind create another world. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen it. Like. Mashes them up.
So yeah, man. Anyway, respect for coming through. You get me, kingdoms.
Just man, guidance,
powers. You know. So yeah, usually as we like done up here, we ask a man here to obviously do a little freestyle for the community, for the people. You know, I'm gonna make you find a beat. You know, and then obviously boom, just lay something for the people. Them, you with me? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even I spat that one earlier on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we can do a little song. Obviously, I don't because like I said, we only used to speak when we needed to. You know what I'm saying? Like your wife would know when you was hungry, she'd look at you and just picture the plate and just give it you. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm not really out there as much as like on the music thing like that is because when I write something, it's for the reason, innit? You know what I'm saying? So like freestyling is good, but you just, you know what I'm saying? It's words,
even some what you've written, then just you get me, just you make drop it like it's hot. Come with it. We'll find a beat stuff. Yeah.
When you got to know thyself, then you building wealth. So, ooh, yeah man. Then you got to build, know thyself. When you know yourself, then you build some wealth. When you build your wealth, I'm not talking about health. Elohims, Ken. On a mission, no NASA. Picture perfect, no Picasso. A Prince of Wonder, princess in the BAFTA. Or they got my awards, no BAFTA. Trying to get somewhere to the spiritual. So I put my eyes, skate straight from the physical. My third eye open, it's visual. So I watch my visuals. Close my eyes, that's when I'm awake. Head project my own vision, no cinema stage. I'm the real acting hero, not acting on stage. The man are all actors, that's why they get paid. They could never take my position or hold my place. I'm in a whole different division from at your range. You see the pose and the pictures from House of Pain. I see the and the glitches from House of Wayne. I'm something like Prince, purple rain. I'm unique before the sun and after the rain. Something at the top like the shackle chain. The only way to get there is through the spiritual plane. And if you can't get there, you need to train your brain through the mind, body and your soul. That's how it trains. But nowadays, man on the roads talking about y'all when they're running on trains. Nah fam, I'm not one to blame. I'm not in court like the one I'm looking the same. Nah fam, nah I'm not that main like Gucci. Don't wear Gucci, but if Gucci see me, guarantee they would this contract to see me. But nah I'm not gonna be greedy. I just kick back and tell them take it easy.
Trust.
Serious, Elohims.
Street education with me, More lines, more lioness. This is the kingdom spot. Knox, you with me? One order, you with me? More power, more unity, you with me? Don't know, one family tree, you get me? Build up time. Salute.
Powers.
Our people are poor, and you know damn real nobody wants to be poor. This play is gonna show how the pigs react when the people start to take community control over what belongs to them and liberate it back.